Explosions, one-liners, and slow-motion shirtless sprints. Welcome to the movie that introduced us to Michael Bay madness and the buddy cop duo we didn't know we needed. That's right. This week we're kicking off July with Bad Boys, and we've got returning guest Jamie from Millennial Misery to help us unpack the chaos and comedy. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies of the late 90s and early 2000s. This week, we're talking about Bad Boys, the movie that proved buddy cops could be funny, fly, and fueled by explosions every 12 minutes. But before we dive in, let's get into some housekeeping. If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways that you can.
I love that we make ourselves laugh.
I know. Honestly, that's all that matters, guys.
Right? And sometimes I scare Danielle, which brings me great joy.
Yes.
But don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode or a housekeeping. We've got plenty more deep dives into your favorite Y2K movies coming up.
If you love the podcast, help us out. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Your reviews help us grow and keep the nostalgia alive. With that note, we're going to shout out one of our listeners, wonderful Anthony, because he left us a review and it's titled, Take Me Back. I love this podcast. The movies they pick are perfect, and they also have some deep cuts that I missed back in the day. Sometimes it hurts when they roast a movie I love, but they make me laugh, so I can't be too hurt about it. Thanks, Anthony.
Danielle, we're funny.
We are funny.
If you want to show off your love for nostalgia, check out our No More Late Fees merch at nomorelatefees.redbubble.com. From movie-inspired designs to podcast swag, we've got something for every movie lover.
And we're so excited to have Jamie, Millennial Extraordinary, and the face behind Millennial Misery, joining us again. Welcome back, Jamie.
Hello.
I'm back, bitches.
Yay!
Explosion behind him. Slow motion walk.
Oh yeah, no, that's you. That's all you. You got that. Grab you a Coke and a smile. We got stuff to do.
If you want to get to know Jamie a little bit better, make sure you go check out our Anchorman episode we did, as well as its bonus episode. Jackie's gonna dive in and tell us what this Bad Boy's about. What this Bad Boy's about?
Quips, fire, and Taya Leone looking hot.
Yeah.
So, Miami detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett must recover a stash of stolen heroin from their own department. As tensions rise and chaos erupts, the two must trade lives, face off with gangsters, and try not to kill each other in the process. It stars Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Taya Leone, Joan Pantoliano. Did I say that right?
Sounds okay to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. The screenplay is by Michael Berry, Jim Mulholland, and Doug Richardson. We can tell it's written by men. And it was directed by Michael Bay. You can currently rent it on Prime. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we will reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Incinerate it with an explosion. It's tragic.
All right. We'll start with you, Jamie. What was your Y2K rating of Bad Boys?
The best. I would play it on repeat. And I did. I would recite this movie verbatim because, like I was telling y'all earlier, I'm pretty sure that it was on HBO, and that was like the only channel we paid for. And so I
Yes.
did watch it over and over because, back in the day, you had like a handful of VHSs that you would probably watch over and over, or any kind of movie that would come on TV. And
Right.
Bad Boys was it for me. It was a comfort movie.
It is very comforting. It's
It
all about
is.
friendship and love
Yes.
and explosions.
Yeah. And heroin.
Yes. Can't forget that. All right, Jackie.
I would buy it. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, say less.
So I love this movie, and it would have been a would buy, but I don't have it.
Not even on VHS.
I might have had it on VHS, but I got rid of my VHS. But I'm gonna still say it's a would buy.
Okay.
I'm not running this flow. Sorry. It's a classic, and I don't want to lose my black card, so. All right, let's get into the box office. This movie had a budget, they say, from $19 to $23 million. Okay.
Wow.
Oh.
And
Seems a lot for back then. Maybe not. Maybe
what's
not.
The
Y'all
movie
know better.
What's
than
the
me.
movie you referenced that
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever It Takes had a budget of $30 million. And I'm like, where? They had 3 sets and like mediocre teen actors. Where is this budget?
That's funny because think how much they just spent on explosions alone in Bad Boys.
Yes.
So this movie's worldwide gross was $141.4 million.
Wow.
Love to see it.
The film initially set up at Hollywood Pictures, which was owned by, it's like a subsidiary of Walt Disney Studios, but it was placed into turnaround by management and sold to Columbia. And then I think Sony bought the rights to the script from, it says that they bought it from Disney for $3 million. So I don't know how this all went, but it exchanged hands quite a few times.
Wow.
And in its opening weekend, it generated $15.5 million, and it beat out a Goofy movie and Tommy Boy. Because I knew we were doing this movie, and I had to get the baddest boy I know on my t-shirt, which is
Lil
Lil
Raj.
So Roger Ebert noted that despite the highly energetic approach of the 2 lead actors and the visual style of the film, their acting talents were mostly new wine in old bottles. He illustrated that many of the elements featured in the film, including both the plot and characters, had been recycled from other films, particularly those from Lethal Weapon and Beverly Hills Cop, which he's not wrong because I believe it was produced by some of the same people. And he gave the film 2 out of 4 stars. Roger didn't see the vision. He didn't get it. He didn't know this wasn't about plot or story. It was about the culture. It was about vibes.
Bad Boys for life.
Right. Making sweat look
I'm
good.
Love it.
But before we get into cast and crew, let's hear a message from our pod pals.
You've never seen anything like this before.
I actually like this movie.
Don't miss the greatest podcast ever sent over the internet.
You like music?
Huh? I do. Yeah, I do. I've heard of music.
A podcast that dares to do what no other podcast will do.
I can yell at Brian. How dare
Yell at
you
Brian.
have the emoticons? Like, how dare?
Do you have what it takes to listen to the real study?
Did it scare up you?
Do you have what it takes to listen to the real study?
Give me my address and you can follow me.
Chucky us out later.
Watch live Sundays at 4 p.m. Pacific as this incredible live show and its amazing panelists dazzle, entertain, and astonish.
It was dethroned by While You Were Sleeping.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Which
makes
it
sense.
only spent 2 weeks at number 1, which I find in
That's
my
wild.
brain shocking.
I just feel like it was very competitive during that time period.
Yeah.
But I
Movies
also
used to be so much better.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like this was before Will Smith was like Will Smith. You know, like I think it was one of his first like vehicles where you're like, oh,
yeah,
he's
he can carry a
funny.
movie.
He can
Yeah.
carry a movie. So it probably didn't have legs as much as like I'm sure Bad Boys 2 stayed at the top of the charts for a long
Yeah,
time.
and I don't think the studio thought, like you said, I don't think the studio thought this was going to be a draw. And they might have thought it was like a black movie. And sometimes when that happens, they kind of like just put it in a corner and maybe there wasn't marketing budget. I think production was a little bit messy. Like Michael Bay, we already know all the blind items, the stories that man is unhinged and fucking crazy. Like there were a lot of fights on set.
Why are all of his movies orange?
It's his thing.
Every last one of them so orange.
It's his tint. Maybe he likes 70s movies. I don't really know what it is, but it is his stamp. Like it's a Michael Bay movie.
That's funny.
Well, because we can't have two black actors starring in a buddy cop action movie. In the film's early stages of development, Simpson and Bruckheimer initially envisioned Dana Carvey and John Lovitz in the role.
Oh my God. That would have been awful. Could you the movie wouldn't have gone
terrible.
There would have been no real action. Those two can't, like, John Lovitz can't.
Oh my,
I
yeah,
can't.
John Lovitz, give me a
John Lovitz shooting a gun.
I know.
Like,
and look, I love Dana Carvey. Look, he was in Wayne's World, did an amazing job, but absolutely the fuck not.
Well, it was also rumored that the two leads were originally intended for Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes. That was when I saw that was the first time I ever heard that, but
it makes sense, especially for like a
comedy
comic
duo,
and then a straight man and play off of that makes total sense.
Well, and Eddie Murphy was in Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I feel like Eddie Murphy would be like, no, that's too similar of a role. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Even though he has played I forgot what other cop movie he did that was like really bad. It tanked, but I'll be thinking about it later.
Yeah. And Arsenio Hall turned down the role of Lowry, and cites that choice as the worst mistake he has ever made. Yes, Arsenio. Yes.
I don't think it would have been as good.
Yeah, I was going to say, he may think it's a mistake, but I mean, him and Martin are friends. I think they've known each other for a long time. And it, they would have had like the comedy part, but like, nobody's bringing the sex appeal in that duo.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine him as Mike Lowry. You know what I mean? Like,
no. Could not. Not the swagger.
No.
And this was a directorial debut of Michael Bay. And apparently Sony, like we said, they bought the script for $3 million, according to Michael Bay. And
so I should point out that it is the movie directorial debut. He had done music videos prior to that.
Yeah. So many of our favorite directors from that time period were all in music videos at first.
Yeah.
It's very
that's when music videos were actually worth a damn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Facts.
They were like legitimately like a mini movie.
Yes. And then you got the behind the video.
Yeah, making the video.
Making the video on MTV.
And that's when MTV and VH1 actually played videos and songs.
I want to know what money laundering scheme happened that made them shift their programming. Like, how do you lose the bag that much? Like, we were all glued to watching those shows, and they were educating the generations. We learned so much from VH1 about the previous years. Yeah, like now
I love
kids
the
don't
90s.
know what we're talking about.
Yes.
I love the 90s. Even like early 2000s, like was it Girls and Boys, I think they had, or Guys maybe it was called, where it was like I loved those shows too. Those were really good. And like the OG Real World.
Yeah, it was a time.
So good. and the best week evers where they would
Yes.
recap
Oh,
the week in pop
yeah.
culture.
Oh my gosh,
So
I
good.
forgot about Amazing.
Take me
yes.
back.
Shout out to our wonderful friend at the Best Week Ever podcast, because that's one of
Yes.
our faves.
So Martin Lawrence told GQ that Lawrence Fishburne turned down the role of Mike Lowry.
He would have been a great straight man too,
Yes.
but I just feel like at least at least Will can be funny at times. Lawrence Fishburne is, I probably didn't see him be funny until he was on Blackish.
Yeah.
I always just took Ultra so seriously.
Like, he's badass, and I think he could have done a good job, but I don't think the movie would be like almost like a cult classic as it is today, really. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, I think he could have been badass, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marissa Tomei, could you imagine her as Julie Mott instead?
She would have been. Yeah, she would have been a badass.
I think it would have been. She would have way more chemistry. So here's the thing: like it's always sat in my head trying to figure out when they hired Leone. Was there an intention to make it like she had chemistry with the guys to maybe be like more than a witness? Because I'm surprised. Usually in those situations, they always make there be a love relationship somewhere.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if they really didn't pull the trigger because she was white. And I feel like they had to cast a white actress because they didn't want it to be all black, I guess you could say.
Oh.
And that's just something from what we hear, some of the feedback from some of the other movies that we've done.
Yeah.
How the studios think. But I just think of so many movies where they kind of play at a potential swirl kind of relationship, but they don't actually do anything. Like, think of Romeo Must Die, how we had Aaliyah and Jet Li and like nothing. They gave us crumbs. I'm like, they're cute together. Why aren't they kissing? Give it up. Like, what's happening? You know?
Yeah.
So I just always wondered. And then they never bring her back. All these movies, and we haven't seen
I know,
her
and
again.
and we don't see her. Yeah.
So weird.
The internal affairs officer's part was originally written for a man to play. Marg can do no wrong. Like, I love her so much, and I feel like she doesn't show up in enough things for me.
Yeah. I love her so much, but that Karen wig she was wearing,
the worst.
Atrocious.
I actually had to pause it at one point and like look at it because I was like, oh, that's the haircut they went with. I guess they really wanted her to like mean business in it. I guess like
then give her business.
Give her a bob, you know, or
starting in the back or something. Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
It's Tyler Perry wig bad. That's how bad it is. Just ridiculous. All right, Jackie, let's get into it.
Okie dokie. So the movie starts and it's just immediate. Like, I felt a little sensory overload during this scene where Mike is driving his Porsche. What's the other? Marcus is eating in his car. Mike's yelling at him for eating. Marcus is arguing, and it's just like this chaos banter back and forth while Mike's speeding down the road. And then all of a sudden they're like being carjacked and they're still arguing. He held up at gunpoint, and then they like quote this line to one another, which means like, okay, now like spring into action. Like, I was just like, this is like getting my adrenaline going, and we're like not even 2 minutes into the movie.
Well,
I'm anxious.
they purposely did it. They actually wanted to, I think, retool that scene, because the one thing that we're going to see, the thread in this whole movie, is that Michael Bay absolutely hated the script and they didn't have enough budget to get it reworked. So there was a lot of improv in this whole movie. Some of our favorite lines are coming directly from Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and maybe a few words coming from Michael Bay, like when Will Smith calls Martin Lawrence a bitch at one point. that was Michael Bay telling him to call him that, and that pissed off Martin Lawrence so much, and he went to Michael Bay and was like, Will, just call me a bitch. Like, messy. Michael Bay was messy. He was purposely feeding both of them stuff and then kind of just letting them improvise because they hated the script so much.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting. I think this set was chaos in every way.
And I'm sure it was just because Martin Lawrence had Martin, Will Smith had Fresh Prince. So like in their respective realms, they were like peak. So I'm sure there was some
egos there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And with comedy, a lot of the time is kind of like who can out funny.
Right.
So it's like a competition as well. It seems like.
And also Michael Bay has a huge ego. Like, we already know that. But the funniest thing, well, not funny, but because they both have their TV shows, that time frame to make this movie was short. So they started June 27th and then they wrapped August 31st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which nowadays we know that they do really quick turnarounds in these movies and TV shows, but back then that was really quick for this kind of level of production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to these two characters, and then as like they go through kind of their exposition, we find out Mike is a bachelor and he's cool and he has like generational wealth and he lives in this penthouse and he's a ladies' man. And Marcus is a family man, but like has a really hard time balancing home and family or work and family life. And so he's kind of struggling through that. And his wife is just tired of sitting at home waiting for him to come home. So we kind of navigate through that. And then they're held up by carjackers, and then we are shown that they are actually good cops? Question mark.
They're coppers. They're coppers. But I love that the whole storyline of Marcus is that he's not having sex. That is like the whole plot of his existence. Another question I always had is why Teresa Randall did not come back for, I don't know if she was in the third one, but she wasn't in the fourth one. I didn't mind the actress that they had to replace her, but it was kind of sad because I loved her banter with Martin Lawrence.
Yes, they had really good chemistry.
Yeah, so if anyone knows why she's not in this movie, or in the newest ones, please let me know because I miss her. Teresa, I miss you, girl. Come back.
Drop a comment. We'll have you on the show.
Yes, please come on and explain to us. So next up we see like these mercenaries break into the police station and they steal $100 million worth of heroin from the evidence vault. And so this is the catalyst for the whole movie, is figuring out who from the inside was giving them information in order to be able to steal all this heroin.
What do they do with all the drugs that they do take when cops get them? That's what I want to know.
Well, so it's funny that you should say this because I literally watched the other night about, oh my God, who was the Colombian drug lord?
Escobar.
Yeah, Pablo Escobar.
Mm-hmm.
They at least in Colombia, they incinerated it. Like they literally take it out into a field and they burn it.
I wonder if you could just go buy it and just
like
I know,
just
put a contact high.
Those kind of like birds flying by.
I know, right? Like, does that not seem safe? I don't know how they do it here, but in Colombia, they literally show it on this documentary I was watching of them like with a torch, like a flamethrower, insinuating.
Who's volunteering for that job to like light the heroin on fire?
I feel like I'd die, right?
Yes.
Like and then like stumble into the flames. Imagine if they did that to weed.
Yeah, we would.
There'd just be a little
high.
like drum circle around
I
it.
know.
Everyone's just
like I'd be like up from the corner with a hacky sack.
some hula hooping happening.
Yeah.
Vibes are high.
Yeah, it would be amazing, actually.
Yeah. So we also see Marcus's home life a little bit. He has kids being kids, interrupting.
2 sons and a daughter.
Interrupting what little private time he has with his wife. She's like, if you were home at night, maybe you get some, but like we got shit to do. It's the morning. So he's struggling, and like Danielle said, it's just his whole story arc is please have sex with me.
One thing I do love is that they pull through all the way is Marcus's horrible eating habits. Like he loves sugar. He's eating like greasy burgers, fries, and that transcends into the
all
fourth
the
movie.
way, yeah. All
So
the way.
I love that, you can go back and watch like, yeah, this is tracking what happens to him in the future.
And now we're at a station briefing. Captain Howard yells at, so I guess Marcus and what's his name? Will Smith. Lowry. Mike. There we go.
Mike Lowry.
I'm assuming they were supposed to be at the station when it got broken into, because somehow it's like their fault that the drugs got stolen.
It's not really their fault, but like their boss is like, we've got to figure it out because it will be blamed on us somehow, some way, because it's an inside job. Like who would have known all of this heroin was here? So they've got a very short time frame to figure out what the fudge is going on and how to get it back. So, and their captain stays stressed.
Yes.
Like he
also throughout all the movies.
Every movie, this man is stressed beyond belief, and he is cussing the motherfucker out every chance he gets.
It's always smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like everybody's got health problems in the fourth movie. I tell you that.
Yeah, literally. You know what my favorite scene is though? It's like when he's in the gym trying to shoot baskets.
Yeah. And he keeps air balls every second.
And I'm like, I wonder if he was truly acting.
Probably not. And it's so funny, like after The Matrix, every movie I see Joe in, I'm like, you're so evil. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to look at him as like a nice dude.
Good guy, yeah.
Or someone I could trust at least. I can't pronounce the actor who plays the villain, and I can't even pronounce what his villain name is. It's Fauché?
Fauché?
I don't know. And the actor's name
T'Challa?
Tacheki Cario. I'm so sorry, sir.
I'm sure you're a very lovely man.
I just don't know how to pronounce.
And we're Americans, so we don't know another language.
Americans. Don't mind us.
Yes.
But yeah, we see him stealing. He's in a Brinks truck and they shoot, I guess, the Brinks truck security guy that was in on it, but joke's on him, bitch, you dead.
Yeah,
and then
he was a decoy for real.
For real, because they called the cops to say, cop down, so that everyone concentrates and comes to get him, and they get away with all the heroin.
And then we see, because Fauché is 100 million in heroin richer, so let's throw a party. And we see Max, who is one of Mike's old girlfriends, but still seems like keeps in good contact with Mike. Her and Julie, played by Téa Leoni, they go to this party, and
she's a working girl, by the way.
Yeah.
Max is she's an escort, right?
Right, but she doesn't tell her friend that this is a job, which I'm like, how can you do that to your friends?
Yeah. Girl.
I feel like she would have said, nah, bitch, I'm not going. But we do learn that she's been staying on her friend's couch and I guess she just moved there.
She's unemployed photographer.
That's right.
She's like me, except I'm not a photographer.
You could be.
I could be.
Yes.
I probably wouldn't be very good, but
So yeah, Max dies. She gets shot. And
Wrong place, wrong time.
I didn't
yeah.
like it. I'll tell you that. I was not happy about this poor girl getting shot
Yeah.
up. After that motherfucker told her to model. I'm
I
like,
know.
why do all this?
So her back was turned, I guess, when he killed her.
Yes, not good. So her friend is dead, and now Julie has. I don't know if I turned around during this part. I couldn't remember like if she made a noise, that's how they found her, but I think that's what she did. And so now they're chasing her, and she has to make a decision. I keep looking at that. I'm like, is that the actual Biltmore? Because it doesn't look like the Biltmore, but
Mm-mm.
I wasn't sure.
But they kept calling it the Biltmore Hotel.
Yeah.
But okay. No, but like are you saying because this is in Miami, not
Yeah,
in
there's a
not
Biltmore
Okay.
there's a Biltmore Hotel in Coral Gables.
Okay.
And I was like,
I'm with you now.
yeah.
I was like, we're not in South Carolina or North Carolina.
It's a haunted hotel. I stayed there for after Maru's wedding, and I was terrified because I woke up in the middle of the night and I swore to God I saw a big ass like giant, like Harry Potter giant spider. And then I freaked out and then I woke. I don't know if I was dreaming or like I was like, I gotta get out of this motherfucking hotel because it's not for me.
Well, and they keep saying hotel, but it seems like someone's house because
Yeah.
she's like, "Where's the bathroom?" And he's like, "Upstairs on the left." And then
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like that whole thing was very like I was even confused rewatching it because I was like, "Is this someone's house or is this really a
Yeah.
hotel?" Or
Plus, like if there's gunshots at a hotel, like
yeah,
surely other
aren't there
guests
staff?
are
Right.
and like aren't they getting complaints? Aren't
And
people like
the lights were like low and like it was
yeah.
kind of dark, and that's actually how they saw her, right? Because she was on the
Yeah.
second floor and the sunlight was coming in and they saw her shadow at first, and I'm like, I literally was sitting there and I paused it and I was like, they did say hotel, right?
It
I
might
was like,
they might have like special villas on the property because the property
maybe,
is
yeah.
pretty big. But I just looked it up and it said yes, the 1995 movie Bad Boys did film scenes at the Biltmore Hotel in
Wow.
Coral Gables, Florida.
Wow.
Specifically, the movie used the hotel for the party and killing scenes.
Killing scenes, yikes.
And it said that chase scene at the roof of the hotel. What I was concerned with was when she had to make that choice if she was going to jump into the pool. I said, I took physics. Did I do well? Debatable. But I do know that I don't think that bitch would have been alive jumping from that height into that pool. She would have went smack at the bottom of that cement.
No, I like me thinking, how deep is that pool?
Yeah.
Right.
It's an Olympics like diving pool.
Yeah,
It's, like,
I'm like,
30
how
feet
deep is it?
Well, yeah, so now Julie is on the run. Bobby Boucher is out to find her because now she's a chink in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And Max had always said or had talked about her friend Mike and like if I'm ever in trouble, like you can call my friend Mike type thing. And so Julie is now trying to get a hold of Mike Lowry because she's witnessed Max being murdered.
And Mike has gone on his own like one-man vendetta because he is when they get to the hotel like after everything is done and they see his friend dead, he like goes on a mission to go try to figure out who the hell did it. Because before this even happened, they do go to a house because they found out the person who did the ventilation or something, the AC or something about
the ventilation for the chemical spells, supposedly.
Right. They went to his house, found him dead. So now he's on like he went on another goose hunt and he gets banged in the back of the head. So he's kind of like off book. And so when she calls looking for Mike, now Marcus has to pretend it's him. But what kills me in this scene is that their captain picks up the phone and he puts his hand over the receiver or whatever, and it's just like, sir, I know they could still hear you.
Yes. And
So,
also, just like play it off, like switch, because by the time they go to meet her, like soon after Mike is up and active, like
right.
just switch back and be like, oh, I had a cold or something. Like that's why I sound different. You know,
Right.
like I like this whole switching roles. It's just like
so stupid.
It was unnecessary, I feel like.
so unnecessary.
But is it? Because, like my initial theory, if they didn't want there to be some sort of romantic tension between
True.
Mike,
They
had to have it be Marcus instead, because there's literally no tension between those two.
Yeah.
If it was Mike, it's like, of course they'd be fucking. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's my
But
thought.
also, like, I think you could have very easily just made it like Marcus. This was like Max was an old friend from high school or something, and like she was like, "Go, like, if anything ever happens, go call Marcus." Like, I feel like there could have been that instead of go call Mike. Like, it didn't need to be like this weird switcheroo.
But I do love that when he goes to meet her at the apartment and she's, to get her stuff, like they have this interaction. She's like trying to beat him with a bat and all this stuff. And I guess they found out where they go to Max's house, and that's where she's at. And so they start shooting up the place, and they're able to get out, and they take Marcus's car, which is like a station wagon or whatever. She's like, why do you have a car seat back here? Like, what is going on? And so he ends up taking her back to Mike's house. But one of the funniest things is like, she's like, why do you have so many? Who is this guy you have all these pictures of?
She's like, is that your lover? Are you a homosexual?
It cracks me up because like I have pictures in my house, but it's always with me and other people. Like I don't have any pictures of myself. But my grandma, she cracks me up. Like me and my family make fun of this all the time. My grandma has pictures all over her house of everybody in the family, but in her bedroom specifically, she has all these portraits of herself. It's like
queen behavior.
It's like
queen behavior.
Every age, she's got her photos, right? And
oh my gosh, I'm just now remembering when she had her photo shoot for her birthday, and she was like all dressed up, and like they didn't even have to tell her to pose. Like Nana Myrtle was on it.
All she kept saying to me was, before I die, I want to have my photos, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, over dramatic much. You're not dying anytime soon, but sure. So I know a good friend who's a photographer. I had her come and take my grandma's pictures. She got to pick which one she liked. Then I printed them out for her, and she was sending cards with her pictures in it.
I love that. No, I do. I love that. I wish there was any photo of me that I liked enough to hang on my wall.
Well, my sister and I always complain like there's not enough well, I don't complain because there's a ton of pictures of me, but my sister's like there's not enough of her. My grandma's like, well, get a picture of yourself and frame it, put it in here.
Danielle, we should get me on the wall before Serena gets another photo.
No, Serena took her picture and she made sure she left some in there.
That's so funny.
And good luck trying to get on the wall, Jackie. Good luck. Nana ain't got no white people on no walls in our house as much as she loves you.
I'm going to send Nana a framed photo of myself and see what happens.
Do it.
All right. I love to see it. I love to see what she does. I'll love to see the reaction. Like, why is this here?
I'm gonna send one to Nana and one to Christine. So it just seems like, oh, why don't you have me on the wall? I'm the favorite child. I'm the favorite grandchild.
Just delusion, Jackie. Maybe favorite child, but the grandchild is wild business.
I know. Back to Marcus and Julie.
If you send the photo with another edible arrangement, you might be in.
Ooh.
Because she did love that.
Oh, Nana. So now Marcus is tasked with taking care of Julie, which means that Mike has to go to Marcus's house and pretend to be the family man. I didn't catch it. I was on vibes during this movie. I was not watching for plot, unfortunately. My brain wouldn't let me. So did Marcus's wife know that's why Mike was there, or now we're just lying to everyone?
No, we're lying to everyone.
Okay.
We're lying to everyone. He thinks that she thinks Marcus is in Cleveland.
Yes, because
That's
Marcus
right.
is like, I got married so I could stop lying.
Yeah.
I thought that line was so good.
Right.
I can stop lying to women. But yeah, so I don't know if they tell her that because of police business, like he needs to be there for protection. Because I think she's on alert that shit may be awry. Because remember later when Marcus loses his shit and he tries to break into the house, she is looking outside with Mike, knowing that someone might be creeping up on the house. So,
and then there's just a lot of like kind of finding bad guys, shootout, bad guys get away.
Lots
explosion.
of death.
Yeah.
Clubbing, dogs shitting on good rugs.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Julie's dogs.
Oh yeah, Lukey and Dookie.
I thought it was rude of her. Like, yes, you're in trouble, but like, I would whenever if I have an animal, I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure that at least I'm putting something down, knowing that my dogs are gonna have anxiety. Like, I don't want to ruin someone's very expensive rug. Like, she just was like, whatever. And I'm like, bitch, I'm gonna send you an invoice for my freaking rug. Like, what are you talking about?
Marcus, acting as Mike Lowry, said he was like, no, I told her it was okay. I was gonna replace it.
There's during this scene, there is a woman who has a key that walks in with a robe and lingerie, right. She massages everything. Hers masseuse,
including his penis.
Yeah. I was surprised that he let someone have a key to his house.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like the type, even a masseuse.
Yeah.
Well, because like he seems like the love the one you're with type. So like, what if this masseuse is walking in and he's entertaining someone else?
Right.
You know?
I think they have
Mike's
strict
messy.
Appointments. Yeah, Mike is messy. 100%.
So because of the nightclub shootout, now Captain Howard is even more stressed.
That poor man.
The amount of money the city has to pay for these two idiots, which he says almost in every goddamn movie, like,
yes,
y'all are killing my budget with this shit.
Also, I had the thought, because they kept saying Miami PD, and I'm like, or Miami, I can't remember what it's called, but I was like, so are we to assume that they work with Dexter in this police department?
Jesus.
Do
Why,
they
Jackie?
exist in the same universe?
There's multiple police departments in Miami.
They just say Miami PD.
Okay. Yes, Jackie. You know what? I'm going to jump into the delusion. They know Dexter.
That's all I wanted.
They work. They're actually suspicious of him. They don't trust him. They know he's up to no good.
But
yes.
but Dexter brings a donut, so easily paid off. Especially Marcus.
Yeah,
I'm sure you bring him a donut and he's good.
Marcus is cool with Dexter. Mike, not so much.
Yeah, Mike knows something
ain't right.
Mike is with Dokes and like side-eyeing him. Okay. Thank you for coming along in my delusion with me.
It's funny that it does take place in Miami because apparently it was originally supposed to take place in New York. And I just think it's perfect because many movies take place in LA and New York every time. And so it was nice to see Miami blowing up every few minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Give us a change of scenery.
Plus, I think it kind of went better with like the heroin.
Yeah.
Because like the drug trade, like it just makes sense. Like
it's a
logistically.
Yeah.
So now Julie has found out that Marcus is not Mike Lowry. I feel like Marcus is very relieved in this. Like he's like, finally, like I can just go back home and not get sex. Like life returns to normal. But Julie's pissed, understandably so. But she comes around and she's like, okay, I get it. Like, but so now everything's on the up and up. Julie now understands like the stakes of this whole thing, because at first she was just kind of like, and like my friend got killed, but she didn't understand the context or how deep the rabbit hole went in the situation.
Was this before or after she tried to take a gun to the club and try to shoot it up?
After.
Because she didn't get the context then. I was like, bitch, what
reckless.
are you doing?
I know. I was like screaming at the screen like I was a little 10-year-old again. Like, you dumb bitch.
And she took so long to fucking shoot. Who goes into the middle of the club and is like,
yeah, I know. That club was interesting too.
Yes.
Club Hell.
I mean, if you played some more techno music, it could have been the club from Blade. It was just ridiculous.
I had the same thought too.
It was ridiculous. So she causing trouble.
Yep.
Now they got, and I think it's Marcus who sees her because it took her forever to lift that gun as if it was heavy.
She was functioning in slow motion like
she was.
Yes. And so Marcus comes and stops her. Or I don't even know if it was Marcus or Mike. But then
it was Marcus.
Yeah. But then they have to run out and they take this truck that has ether in it. Not dangerous at all.
Like of all the things to steal. All the cars.
Oh,
but she knows what it is right away.
She does.
I know that smell.
And so
is ether used in like photography printmaking? Now I need to know. Like, how does she know?
That's a good question because I don't even know.
Does she say it's ether or does she just know it's something flammable? I can't remember.
I can't remember now either.
Well, Mike decides to be Donkey Kong and throw those things at cars chasing them, who I don't even know who's chasing who at this point, like who these people are. But they're being chased and then they're on a closed highway, which that tracks with Florida constantly having road changes and whatever.
He's like, you literally pick the only road in Miami that we're running out of road.
Yeah. And they blow up the car and they're on the news with the helicopter now. Go ahead. Sorry, Jackie.
No, you're good. Apparently, historically, so not in 1995, but if you know like the history of photography or strategies or techniques to use, ether is used in a type of historical photography called wet plate collodion photography.
Interesting.
So maybe that's how she knew it, which is why.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I took a photography class once.
Same.
Well, you legit took photography. I took like a 1-day class and I'm like, I still don't know what's going on. It feels very scientific to me and I'm just like, this is too hard. I'm out.
I took it in high school and like we had a dark room and everything and we got to like develop
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I should go into photography.
Yes. So now, like you said, she is in the right state of mind, knowing what the stakes are and not being stupid on her revenge plot.
And then Mike's house is then compromised and Julie is kidnapped. So now Mike and Marcus are trying to get Julie back. Because I think at this point they figured out no, they haven't figured, they know who took the heroin, but they didn't know how he knew that it was at the precinct.
Right. And then they find out that the secretary, I guess.
Oh, girl. Yeah, who couldn't
she-
get into the ex-cop's file.
Right.
Yes.
She is the culprit that let them, like, help them get in to steal it. And
Which I was not proud, but I understood the stakes, because usually it's like, oh, we've taken these nudie photos of you, we're gonna release them to your family or whatever.
Mhm.
They were threatening to post them at her son's school. Like,
Yeah.
that will get you to do a whole lot of shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I kind of feel like because she's so close to everybody in the precinct, I think if she had told them, they would have helped her out.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something she should have kept to herself. Like,
Yeah.
I think she should immediately have told them, say, fuck this bluff,
Yeah.
you know.
Like, you're not gonna get me or see my titties.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay, yes, my son might be a little traumatized, but later in retrospect, all of his friends would be, your mom's hot as fuck. You know? I'm just
She
saying.
has like a cute little retro vibe going.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. But yeah, she was the culprit. And I, like you were saying earlier, Jamie, the fits on
God, yeah.
Julie, really cool in this
Yeah.
movie.
I mean,
Not,
like, I want to wear them today. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the weird thing. I even wear the shoes that she wore to the nightclub. Like, I kept trying to pause it and seeing if I could, 'cause the cutest like stacks. Like, yeah, all of her outfits so cute. I definitely had a girl crush on her back then. Oh, I mean, I still do, but I definitely did at back in the day when I would watch this movie numerous times. She's
And
hot in this movie.
she
Yeah.
definitely was working her legs a lot in this movie.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
any chance she
God.
could.
Killer legs.
Yeah.
The only thing I would have changed, love the skirt in the end scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of the color, like the khaki, like it kind of, it was giving almost like Native American costume at points. And I'm like, I need like a pop of color, like a blue to go, like bring out her eyes or something. But also Michael Beige likes orange and
Right. I was gonna say,
warm
I totally,
tones.
yeah, I think it was totally to fit the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because if she had
Yeah.
worn like even red, if she had worn anything, it would have just, she would have been the center.
Yeah.
Because everything else is muted. So I think that's why they chose that. But you're right. It would have looked much nicer with some color.
So now the trio traces their drugs to an airship. I guess they have photos, and somehow they get leads that like this is where the big transaction's going to take place.
But then Marge comes in and shuts it all down in her most Karen-esque voice.
She's like, I just needed a reason and you bitches gave it to me.
Every fucking movie, there's someone higher up trying to shut them down. It's like, without a doubt, this is going to be a plot device every single time.
But it's like literally their job to find and catch the bad guys. Why are you trying to shut us down?
Because she can. Yeah. We also have to mention Detective Sanchez and, oh, I can't see what the other guy's name is. The other detective, damn. What's his name? Because there's banter with them throughout the whole movie. Another set of detectives that are on their team. Detective Ruiz. They help out a lot. But they have banter with themselves.
Yeah, they have one little thing with the two partners going back and forth.
Yeah. They're fun in the movie.
So now we are at the climax. It's explosion, explosion, explosion. Oh, at some point, Julie had stolen the handcuff key because Marcus had handcuffed her to the steering wheel when he went to like sneak into his own house. And she's like, never again, bitch. And so she steals a key. And so then she has that. So she's able to like unlock. Was it her own handcuffs or was it? I think so.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Lots of explosions, lots of slow-mo shooting, and the bad guys are foiled and it's bad boys for life.
I love that the garbage truck like busts in there.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's good, who's bad. Shooting. Ether blows. I'm like, I don't think it's safe to be trying to shoot the ether to blow it up in this small confined area and not knowing what that blowback is gonna be situation, but to each its own. And then Mike gets shot trying to save
Julie
again. He gets shot in the leg. And then Marcus is out here kind of by himself and he shoots up the ether. He also gets shot. And then Max gets the car. Okay, there's two, I
Not
can't
Max,
tell.
Julie.
Who's Max? Oh, that's the friend that
the
died.
friend that
Sorry.
got murdered.
I'm sorry. Yes, Julie. Max didn't rise from the dead.
No.
Sorry. Julie gets the car or is with Marcus. Marcus has the car. Somebody gets the car. But I see two sports cars that are black and tiny. So I'm like, oh, they stole Mike's car. But then I realize it's a different car. I'm very confused at this point. I don't know what these cars' names are. Didn't get to pull that. Sorry. And so they go chasing the bad guy. Fauchette, Fawcett, whatever his name is. And they go driving to go get him. They catch up with him and they're able to like incapacitate him. They shoot him in the knee, which I appreciate that they're like not trying to shoot to kill.
Yes.
But what I don't get is when they knock him over, they don't pat him down. This is cop 101.
Yeah.
You should make sure he doesn't have another weapon. Like that was real novice.
Or like at least handcuff him. Like do something to restrain him.
They just walk away and they're like, it's time to chit chat. Come on now, fellas. Come on now. And then just like, this is just so insane to me, but the man goes, again, slow motion, pulls the gun, and Mike sees a reflection on the dome of Marcus's forehead and knows immediately it's double tap time, bitch. He shot that man like 6 times. It was very unnecessary, Mike. It was very unnecessary. But it's an infamous shot. Like everybody, whenever you think of Bad Boys, you see that shot. That is the shot. But very ridiculous, very unserious.
And then we slow mo walk off into the sunset, and we ride together, we die together. That's Bad Boys. We did it.
We did it. And I think I was like, oh, this went by fast, but it's because there's so much action. It's like not a lot to go detail into.
I didn't realize how long the movie was.
Yes.
It's like, I feel like back in the day, movies were like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe. But this one was almost 2 hours.
But this is the shortest Michael Bay movie he's ever made. Because it's under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the fights. There was a lot of push and pull on this set.
Okay.
Michael Bay wanted Will Smith to be topless for his foot chase. However, Smith would only go as far to do the scene in an unbuttoned dress shirt. And let me tell you, as much as it would have been nice to see Will Smith shirtless, it's still as sexy as fuck. That scene.
Yeah. No, I think that is actually better.
Yes. Because it makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes it believable.
Yes. Why would Mike take his shirt off?
Yeah.
We're not at the pool.
Because it's a nice, expensive shirt. He didn't want to get.
Yeah.
Nah,
ready.
it's just he's got his wife beater on. He'll be all right.
When the film was written for Dana Carvey and John Lovitz, the original title for Bad Boys was Bulletproof Hearts. A love story. No, I added that last part. But
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was going to be a totally...
Yeah. That would have belonged at the box. I'll tell you, wouldn't got 2, 3, and 4.
No.
A bulletproof heart.
It'd be in the Walmart bin.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, Dana Carvey and John Lovitz were in Trapped in Paradise, which in its own right is a very enjoyable, like, holiday movie. We didn't get any sequels, though.
No.
No.
Not yet, at least.
No.
In the year 2025, you just never know at this point.
Especially when Nick Cage is in it. We never know when he's just going to pop up in a random sequel.
Where is my National Treasure 3? I fucking can't take this shit. Y'all went and made a goddamn TV show that was horrible with Catherine Zeta-Jones looking a mess. A mess, I tell you. But we still can't get National Treasure 3! God damn it! Okay, I'm better now. I'm sorry. It just hurts me why they don't complete this treasure of a trilogy that's meant to be.
Of all of, like, the movies that got a million sequels, why did we not ride that till the wheels fell off?
You know what it is, Jackie? They want Americans uneducated. They don't want us to know history. And that movie taught us fake history real well. Better than school.
Not wrong. What other fun facts we got, Danielle?
According to Bay in the DVD commentary at the end of the film, when Mike and Marcus are recuperating, Mike says, "I love you, man." Bay claims that Smith refused to say the line, causing the director and actor to argue back and forth over the line. Bay wanted Smith to say the line as he felt it summed up the friendship between the cops. After their argument had lasted for half of the day's shooting, and much of the crew was ready to pack it up, a fed-up Bay told Smith to do whatever he wanted, after which Smith changed his mind and agreed to say the line. I also saw some stuff where it was saying that actually Bay was like, do what I say kind of thing. It was very much a back and forth. And I think the reason this happened is a combination of two things. One, I think from what we know, especially if you watch the Fresh Prince reunion that they had when it was like, I think their 20th or 30th anniversary. It was an anniversary, right? When he apologized to the original Aunt Viv, right? The actress, Hubert, I think is her last name. He talked about like his hubris at the time and how big his ego was at the time. So I definitely think ego had a lot to do with their friction. But I also think that it's like a tinge of like how, again, out of every actor I've ever seen, Will Smith has always been so meticulous on how he's been perceived. It is like a huge thing for him. And I think he's talked about it. It causes him great anxiety that he cares about that. And I think he was worried about like homophobic things. You know, and we've talked about this on the show a few times, especially in the Black community. It is just not the most, it's gotten better, but back then I could imagine that is just not something you would do in his mind. Which now if you leap to the fourth movie, it's like they say it every 10 seconds that they love each other, you know? So I just think it's funny that this happened, and that's just my opinion. I think that's what it was. He was fearful about how it would
during
be
that time. And we see it in other movies where, like, especially like in comedies, like homophobia is used as a punchline a lot of times, so it wasn't something that like men were out there outwardly saying to their male friends, I love you. So Tia Leone was accidentally knocked out by Martin Lawrence's stunt double.
Oh.
I don't mean to laugh, but just Jamie's reaction made me giggle.
Oh my God.
Jamie, you can grab any of the fun facts if you want.
So during the bathroom fight scene at Club Hell, Michael Bay was worried about killing the fish that spill out all over the bathroom floor, which, by the way, that scene, just like the whole scene, like the urinal and there's stuff in the urine. What? Oh, it's gross. You can't really remember if the fish were carp or giant goldfish, but the safety of the fish were a number one priority to Michael Bay, which is honestly hysterical. But that scene, it literally made me relive the scene in Romeo and Juliet, because it's a double-sided,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a fish
And I
tank,
was
yeah.
like, is this the same place Romeo and Juliet was filmed?
I just think it's hilarious that Michael Bay was so concerned about fish.
Yeah, but not Will Smith or
Or when we get to Bad Boys 2, not concerned in any way that he had an underage Megan Fox in a bikini under a waterfall
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
on
problematic.
purpose. Jesus. And I think that's why they won't have him. He didn't direct the last movie, I don't think. I think
The last
that's,
two, he only did 1 and 2.
yeah, I think they had to have his ass sit down. Probably, it might be just Will and Martin just like, nah,
Yeah,
we good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Optics on this, not great.
Yeah. And he's just probably a dick.
So Michael Bay has gone on record about his dissatisfaction with the ultimate cut of the film. He expressed this dissatisfaction with several specific shots, including the car chase following the clubhouse scene and one shot in which a character is thrust from an exploding plane.
I remember that scene. That shit made me laugh because you just see the man on fire like, ah! I don't know why he hates it, but that shit's hilarious.
But he also re-edited the movie because he screened it for his mom and she was concerned about how much profanity was in it. And so he took out a bunch of the profanity.
That's sweet.
Yeah. That might be and the fish might be the only thing Michael Bay did nice.
There's a line that I didn't catch, which is at the beginning of the movie, Marcus comments that he wouldn't get food from Denny's because he don't like the way we've been treated. So in the 90s, I don't know if people remember, Denny's settled a few lawsuits that accused the staff of racism. And I like that clicked something in me because when we were younger, we used to go to Denny's all the time. But then I remember that was happening, that people were suing Denny's, and it really caused it, some backlash, and Denny's not doing well for a while there. Wow. But yeah, I totally forgot. Me and my grandma just went to Denny's not too long ago. Got that Grand Slam or whatever it's called.
Man, that Grand Slam. There's not a Denny's close to me. The closest one is 3 hours.
Damn.
They closed the one by us, but like weird shit would always happen to my brother at Denny's. So one time he was like, there was a group of people like waiting outside for tables, and this old lady in a walker like fell over, but it looked like Johnny had pushed her like from like where he was standing.
Poor Johnny.
And then another time someone started choking and he had to give someone the Heimlich in the middle of Denny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He's just pushing over old ladies and saving others.
I can't wait to bring this up to him now. I'm gonna be like, I heard you were pushing old ladies at Denny's. Well, before we get into our ratings, why don't you tell everyone again, Jamie, where they can find you on social?
You can find me on Instagram at millennial_misery, and then Millennial Misery on all the other socials, or my 20 million others.
And we will make sure to put a link in our show notes so that you can find all of the many places to find Jamie. You guys can hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Threads, and Blue Sky. This will be after my birthday, and if this hasn't happened yet, I'm going to make a plea. I hope we get to 10,000 followers on Instagram before my birthday.
Oh, you totally can get it.
I really
hope. Help.
Thank you. Because we're so close, and it's taken so damn long, but it would be nice if you guys want to give me a late birthday present. Go follow.
Jamie, what is your present day rating of Bad Boys?
I would buy it again.
Love it.
Own it.
Jackie?
Same. I said before I was on vibes, but the vibes were high. I very much enjoyed everything that I saw. Danielle?
Would buy it again. It was a fun rewatch.
Yeah.
It was.
I kind of want to watch all of them now.
Yeah, same.
Even though I think the first one's the best.
Yeah, agreed.
I still want to watch all of them.
Although I do love when Gabrielle Union comes in the second one, and it does piss me off that she doesn't stay, because Because they make a spin-off TV show of her character with Jessica Alba years later. And I'm just like, I don't understand why that wasn't pulled all the way through.
Yeah.
So, and she lives in Miami. It makes sense.
Yeah. Well, if you have any feedback for us, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-6653. Twat us at the Twitters, hum us at the threads, butterfly in the sky at Blue Sky, and you can be featured on a future episode.
And don't miss next week's episode as we keep the summer sizzling with Charlie's Angels.
Throw your hands up at me. And as always, be kind and rewind. Bad boys for life.
I love you, man.
Look at all the air.